Okay. Okay, I figured out how to, mute it in case something happens.
Okay, sounds good. The recording just started. Now I'm going to start the live stream. And all right, we are recording and we are live. I'm going to take down the please mute your mic presentation right now. And I'm going to pull up our ropes. So we're going to review our ropes, then we're going to get into introductions, and then we'll get into the lesson for today. So looking at our ropes, let me present those for you guys. So starting with our ropes, just going to go over them real quickly just so we remember how we're going to treat each other in this shared space. Starting with the R's, we have our respect. Please, in this session, respect everyone's voice, treat everyone as equal, and everyone is a valued member of this discussion. Please remember you're responsible for your actions and part in this discussion. Also, keep in mind this is recorded. This is something that we record for not just your safety, but our safety as well. It's also a session that we can share with other people. Then we want to move on to the O. Please be open-minded because this is a public space. We have people coming from different backgrounds that are welcome to come and have different thoughts, different ideas. Please be considerate of those and be open to the opportunity to learn something new. Next, we're looking at the opportunity. I'm glad that you two are here taking advantage of this opportunity to connect and share with other people. Next, we're looking at P. Please be patient as we're going through a virtual conversation. We like to give a couple seconds after someone speaks to make sure they have time to finish their thoughts because we can't necessarily see them all the time. Also, since it is online, there might be some technical issues that might cause delays, so just kind of be patient with us as we're working through this process. The next P is participation. We encourage participation. This is supposed to be an interactive experience, but it is up to you if you choose to participate or if you want to pass. Both are completely acceptable. Moving on to E, we want to talk about effort. I appreciate the effort of you both getting on and being here, and being present with us. We do ask when we do activities in the session that you do try the activity. You might not want to share your results from the activity, but we do ask that you try it on your own. Next, we expect you to be engaged. So being engaged with you when you're online, there can be a lot of distractions. You guys are in your house right now. So, making sure that you have a place where you can kind of not be distracted. So maybe that's getting away from other people, having a quiet space, and not going to get caught up in outside conversations. Next, we definitely want this to be an enjoyable experience. We do plan to learn things and share, but we also want this to be fun. So we do want you to have some engagement here where you can tell us, that wasn't fun. Tell us what you guys want to do in your reflection form so we can make this an enjoyable experience for you guys. And then lastly, the S, please give space. Give people space to talk. We do want everyone's voice to be heard and give them that kind of space. And lastly, is safe. This is a safe space. Any bullying, disrespect, or inappropriate behaviors will not be tolerated. That's another reason why we record the sessions, because if something inappropriate does occur, we do want a recording of it so we can address that and kind of maintain this safe space. Does anyone have any questions about the ropes before we move into introduction?
No, sir.
Oh, you don't have to say sir. I appreciate that, though. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Mr. Kellen. I'm one of the Healthy Lifestyles instructors. I hold the InstaClub house sessions on Mondays and Thursdays. And with the introductions today, I'm going to, as I always do, I'm going to ask you to share how you're feeling today with everything that's going on. And our session today is talking about online school and what you're going to be doing education-wise while school is closed. So along with your name, how you're feeling, also tell me one thing you miss about being out of school. So who wants to go first?
Casey, you go.
I'm Casey, and wait, what was I supposed to do? I really forget.
How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
I'm doing really good. I love the mornings, so I do very good in the morning.
Thanks. You're a morning person. And then something that you miss about not being in school.
About not being in school or being in school?
Yeah, I guess I'm phrasing it wrong.
Okay.
Something that you miss about school, something that you don't get to do right now because you're not in school.
My German class, and like how my German teacher used to come over and actually like come over and help me, because I can't do work like by myself. I always need that like one-on-one like actual like learning. I can't do like, because I still do my German work, but it's harder because I have to do like YouTube videos now.
Definitely. It's one thing I think about when we're going to start talking about like this online school kind of model is different learning styles. Like some people need to have that one-on-one conversation with an actual person for that learning to actually take place. All right, you want to go next? Well, I guess you're the only person. So.
My name is Keisha, and you said how's my day going or something?
In general, how are you feeling?
I'm agitated because I'm tired of being in the house because I would normally be outside right now, you know. And I'll be at school at this hour. Well, I'll be out of school because I get out of school at 2:22. But okay. I would normally be at school. But one thing I miss about school is socializing with people. I got to see the same people's faces every day that I have to see every single day. Like, I don't even talk to people, but like I miss socializing with people and stuff. I miss my friends, and I miss going places. Like, I want to go to the mall so bad, and I need my nails done, and yeah.
So Casey's getting her nails done. Maybe you guys can talk about different things you can do at home to do your own nails. But definitely the socializing is a big thing. You love the people in your house, but over time it's like
it gets boring
every day, like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And missing your friends is a big thing. We have these sessions so you guys can connect. From what I can tell, you and Casey are friends, so it's good that you get to connect here. It might be also a good idea to find other ways to set up your own hangouts with your friends, or like just calling people and FaceTiming and all kind of stuff like that, to maintain that connection. I know it's not exactly the same, but it's at least something to kind of maintain those bonds, because that's a tough thing to kind of go through right now.
If I would have knew that would have been our last day of school, I would have acted differently. Know what I'm saying?
What do you mean you
would have acted differently? I would have said bad to people that I won't see till next year.
That's a tough one, definitely. Keisha, what grade are you in?
I'm in 10th grade.
Okay. Can you both give me some insight into because you had that Friday off, right? Normally, it was supposed to be a day off of school, so it was kind of like you had no idea that you were gonna, not be coming back.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I really like school, so like I miss school.
That has to be like really jarring, because it's like you were planning to just, have a great long weekend, and now it's like the end of school for the year, or at least at school as you knew it.
I miss the people in school. Like, I really don't like anyone in school, but I just miss them so much.
Yeah. It's interesting, talking with teenagers, a lot of times they say, oh, I don't like school. I don't like these teachers. I don't like these students. But in this kind of situation, we kind of appreciate, just the social connection that we get from school. And we miss them. It kind of makes us appreciate a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're both in McKeesport, I wanted to talk a little bit with you about the current situation for school. So can you give me some insight into what you think online school, or I think it's called the continuity education plan, is for you guys in terms of your education for the rest of the school year?
I don't even know how to work online school. I don't know how to do it.
Okay. I know that I looked into it a little bit. It's pretty much like they have worksheets and information on the website for you to read over for certain topics, and you have to answer questions on that worksheet. Does that sound about right, Casey?
Yeah, they are making people pick up packets, but my mom, she's like disabled, so she can't. So they'll like send them to your house or whatever, and yeah, and then you just do them. I think it's optional though.
To do online school? It's optional to do online school?
It's not really online. It's more like at home school. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you have to? You don't have to do it unless you're failing.
No, I don't know how it works though. Like, I can't tell you all the details about it. I just know my mom called and they're sending 2 packets, a 10th grade packet and a 7th grade packet for Shy and me.
So what I think the situation is, like, in Casey's case, since her mom is disabled, they'll send you the packet if you can't.
How are you supposed to give them their packet back?
Huh? Well, I don't know if you have to give them back or you can do like, I don't really know, or just send it back.
So I think the options are, you can get it like delivered to your house if you're not able to come to school and pick it up. You can pick it up from school, or you can download the stuff offline. I think those are kind of the 3 options that you're going to have to access it. I have heard the conversation about it being optional. I'm not going to confirm or deny either one, so I'm not 100% sure. But I highly recommend, even if it is optional, that you still do it, just because it's more about you getting some form of education in this time period, so you don't fall behind or anything like that.
Right.
How do
that's
you
why I keep
say, Casey?
I said that's why I keep because I don't want to forget anything, and I forget like super fast, so I have to keep on like doing it.
Definitely. I know, like, do you understand why they're doing this? Why this is happening? Why they're making this into like a homeschool / online school situation?
I've always wanted to be homeschooled. Now that I think about it, I don't know how to do it.
Like, a lot of people think that like homeschool's really easy. You can just stay at your house and like you don't have to get dressed. You can just chill and do your work. It is still school. There's still work involved with it. But I think the big thing to keep in mind, because I've talked with a couple teams and they're really angry. They don't want the situation, but keep in mind the school wouldn't be doing this if they didn't feel they had to. It's really about keeping everyone safe, keeping everyone healthy, more than anything. So it's kind of like we want to make the best out of the situation. Asia, I wanted to talk with you about both of you about how to prepare for kind of this new school setting. Like, I have a couple tips and ideas to make the school situation successful for you, and things you can put in place to make it effective. So, like Casey said, you don't forget things, you don't lose things. You get to kind of maintain what you've learned and even build upon that. So, would you guys be open to having a discussion of how you can prepare for this like homeschooling situation?
Can you break that down?
Yeah, so pretty much I was going to give you some tips on how you can prepare for homeschool. So what you can be doing to make it kind of the most successful situation for you. So there's just some tips to help you get ready to kind of transition into like a homeschool setting, and get used to like not being in the classroom, not having a teacher. How do I kind of get myself organized? Is that cool?
Okay. So go ahead, Casey.
Wait, what? I thought he was giving tips. I didn't know like we were supposed to do it.
No, I'm gonna give you guys the tips. So the first one is definitely schedule your time. So like kind of treat it like a normal school day. Like, know that like from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I'm going to be doing my math work, and that's what I'm focused on. You know what I mean? Maybe write out an actual schedule of your day, like from whenever you get up in the morning till however long it's going to take you to get your schoolwork done. Don't kind of think like, oh, I'll get it done at some point in the day. Really like block out like class periods almost to focus to get your work done, because that could give you some consistency and get you kind of focused. Does that make sense?
How do they know people's not going to cheat though?
I mean,
They
don't. But that's a big question, Keisha. Like, the whole point of this is not necessarily about grades and cheating. It's more for you guys to be educated. So like if someone's cheating, they're really not getting anything out of it for themselves. You know what I mean? So definitely kind of scheduling, and also having like a place.
Boring if they cheat on it. Like, what's the point of picking up the packet? Like,
here's the thing: if they cheat, they're still reading the information, they're still processing it.
Right.
Do both of you have a place in your house where you do your schoolwork? So like when I sit at this table, it might be the kitchen table, it might be a desk in your room, but like this is my work spot.
I have a dining room.
Dining room for you, Keisha? What about you, Casey?
I sit right in the living room.
Okay. But that's important to kind of say, like, this is my space to learn, and maybe even talking with family members to say, like, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I'm going to be at the dining room table, or I'm going to be in the living room. I'm going to be working, like, kind of leave me alone because I need that kind of quiet space to get my work done. Cool. The next tip I would give you is act like it's a normal school day. Like, get up, shower, like, get dressed like you're actually going to be going out of the house. That's going to help you kind of get your mind right and ready to learn. Like if you're sitting in your PJs all day, like that's going to slow you down and not have you be as engaged when you're doing your schoolwork. Do both of you do that now?
Nope.
Nope.
It all depends on, how.
Depends on the day. The other thing to think about is...
Yeah, I still get up early. I just don't get ready. Like...
Casey was telling me that she's like a morning person. She works really well in the morning. So maybe that's when she should be doing her schoolwork. For you, I don't know if you're a morning person or not.
I'm a nighttime person. I don't really like the morning time. I stay up all night. Like I do stuff better at nighttime.
Okay. And that's cool because here's the thing with homeschooling, you might say my school day starts at 2 o'clock and I'm going to do school from, 2 to 8 or whatever. And that's my time to work because I don't like getting up in the morning. I like staying up late. The nice thing about that, though, is you get to set the schedule. You know what I mean? But you have to actually have the schedule, if that makes sense. Okay. The next one I would say is get yourself organized and stay organized. It's really easy to say, okay, got all my stuff for week 1. I'm ready to roll. Here we go. And week 1 goes great. But then by like week 3, we start to get distracted. We don't kind of stick to our plan. The big thing is making sure that you get organized. What I'm going to share with you right now, I'm going to put some links in the chat. They're going to be for online apps that help with organizing like schoolwork and study time and things like that. So they're really good to help you when you're trying to figure out, what's my school day going to look like? How do I manage all this work that I'm going to be getting and things like that? They're both free apps. So I highly recommend them. Let me see. I'm copying the link.
Hold on.
And paste. So I highly recommend checking these out because they'll be really good to just help with that organization piece. Because the hard thing is there isn't like teachers or like a homework checker or anything like that that's happening for you anymore. It's all on you guys.
I'm gonna go download these.
Yeah, try them out. I mean, they're free and they help. They really do. Like I use like my Google Calendar right now, and that helps me a lot to stay organized and gives me reminders like, okay, I need to be doing this right now. And I think organization is probably one of the key things that helps us kind of stay on track. And especially again when we don't have teachers or the what's the word I'm looking for? The system or the routine of school, we need a little bit of extra help to keep ourselves organized. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is be an active participant. So like, yeah, you're going to get these packets, you're going to be downloading this information, but you got to take the initiative and maybe find some additional information or supplemental things. So like, let's say you have a history project and it's talking to you about like the Bill of Rights, for example. It's great that they give you that, passage from your textbook or whatever to read, but maybe you take it one step further and you do some research on the internet on the Bill of Rights and how it's relative today. So like when we think of the Bill of Rights, one thing we might look at is how does that impact our laws today? So like with the Bill of Rights, gun laws today are impacted by that in the Constitution and things like that. So kind of going above and beyond a little bit and doing your own extra research. How does that sound? Is that something you would actually try, or is it like, I'm just going to do the minimum?
What'd you say?
would you be willing to go that extra step? Like, yeah, they give you all the packet, but would you go beyond the packet to do a little bit more research for yourself?
If I really
It all
needed it,
depends
I
on what
would.
subject it is.
Casey, go first, then Keisha. Let me hear you, Casey.
It all depends on what subject it is.
That makes sense. What about you, Keisha?
I said, what did I say? I said, if I really needed the research, I would research more. If I really wanted it that bad.
Mm-hmm. I only bring that up to do the extra and like do some extra research because yes, you'll get the information that's in like the packets that they give you, but you're not getting the benefit of like the classroom discussion that you would be having at school that would add to your education. You know what I mean? So finding other places and more information about the topic just kind of enriches you a little bit more, gives you a little bit more education in that area. But I think Casey made a good point. It depends on the topic. I mean, I don't expect you to do, research on like math problems and things like that. But if the topic is something that's interesting you and kind of sparks something in you, definitely pursue it. The next one is be open to try something new and keep up with your electives. So when we're having homeschool, from the packets that I saw, they're just your core subjects. So like your math, your English, your science, your history. Thinking about some of the electives that you're going to be missing out on. So like gym, like make sure that you're being active. That might mean that you're going outside, going for a walk. Maybe you're doing. Now here's the thing, Keisha, you can go outside. That is allowed. You just can't be around a lot of people. So like you could go for a walk as long as you're not getting close to other people. So getting some fresh air is a good thing.
I'm not even allowed on my porch. My mama's super strict.
That's fine. But even if you can't go outside, you can be in the house doing some type of exercise, some type of dance. Tomorrow, we do Fitness Fridays. So like getting on Fridays, that could be literally like your gym class. Like you get on and do some fitness activities with us, or you watch like, I don't know, a Zumba class on YouTube. But finding some way to get your blood pumping a little bit is going to be important because gym is not a homeschool activity that they're going to be providing for you. You still got to stay active. Casey, are you doing anything to stay active?
Casey. No.
Are you doing anything to stay active, Casey?
Am I doing stuff to stay active? I go outside every day.
I drink water. I mean,
that's good.
Finally.
First off, that's not water. That's tea. But yeah, staying hydrated is another good way to stay healthy. I like that. The other thing is maybe think about music. It's a class that you're not getting through.
I listen to music every day.
Now, listening to music is great, but also like learning about it a little bit. You know what I mean? So do some. Again, I hate to keep saying do research, but look into like the person you're listening to. Like how did they start up? How do they do what they do? You know what I mean? How does people make beats?
German song.
Say that, Casey. You learn a German song?
I listen to. Yeah.
That's good because my next thing was talking about foreign languages. How do we kind of mix that in? And you're killing two birds with one stone. You're doing German and you're doing music at the same time. I like that. But like, I don't necessarily know if you have instruments at the house, but like literally you can go on YouTube and learn how to play the piano.
I literally like, do you know who Alexander Hamilton is? I mean, you should.
Yeah.
I listen to him.
Okay.
I listen to his whole album. I know like all his songs.
Okay. So one thing you might want to do is like look into like the musical itself, like, how was it created? What kind of like, what's the inspiration behind it? You know what I mean? Take that extra step to kind of learn and educate yourself on the music, not just enjoying it. Because again, that's the kind of stuff that you're not getting by being homeschooled, because you're not going to be doing your elective. The next thing I wanted to talk about is foreign languages. So Keisha already talked about German. Keisha, do you take any foreign languages at school?
Like Spanish and French and stuff? No.
Okay. Well, this might be an opportunity to try and learn one. Learning a foreign language while you're outside of school.
When I was in Georgia, I took Spanish for 2 years. That's how I know what people saying. when they speak Spanish and stuff, but I don't know how to fluently speak Spanish.
Okay. I think Casey already does this, but I have an app called Duolingo, and it's really good. It's really simple. It helps people learn a language. Like, you could know nothing, and it starts you from like the basics and helps you learn through it. So I'm gonna, just like I did with the organization apps, I'm gonna put the link in the chat box as well for you to take a look at. It's really, it's actually kind of fun. Like, there's goals, and like you don't have to do that much. It's a couple lessons, a couple minutes every day. So maybe getting Keisha getting back into Spanish might be something you might be interested in. So let me add that link into the chat box.
I'm learning French after I learn German. Like, after I get fluent in German, I'm learning French. Because my mom, she's German and Canadian. So Canadian's, like, second language is, like, French.
Mm-hmm. And Casey, one thing good about learning languages is once you learn one, the other ones are easier to learn. Like, once you have the experience, because a lot of foreign languages are very similar in terms of how they conjugate verbs and things like that. So learning one is going to be easier to transition. The English language is a little bit weird, but the rest of them are pretty closely linked. So if you're learning German, French is probably going to be pretty easy to pick up.
Do you know any different languages?
Do I?
Yeah.
I kind of do. So like, I took like high school Spanish, so like I can speak some Spanish.
Can you speak fluent Spanish?
I'm not fluent at all. But like, I could go to like a Spanish speaking country and I could survive. Like, I could get food. I know how to ask where the bathroom is. I can talk a little bit and survive.
You know what I speak kind of fluently in? I know what people are saying in sign language.
Oh, cool. You know sign language?
When I was in deaf. Oh, I'm going now. Oh, sorry.
You're all right.
When I was in Rankin, I went to Edgewood, and there was a deaf school right across the path from us. So we always used to go to the deaf school and talk with the deaf children. I know how to do my name in sign language. I know how to say bathroom. I know how to say most stuff, like I'm hungry and all that.
That's all. What were you saying, Casey?
She should teach me.
You should teach her German. She can teach you sign language.
Yeah, trade for trade.
I do want to learn French though. My wife, her family, they're from Cape Verde, which is an African country, and their language is, their primary language is Creole, which is very similar to French. And we're teaching my wife wants to teach my daughter it. So I got to make sure that I learn it, because then they'll start having conversations about me, like right in front of me, and I want to know what's going on. So I've been using Duolingo myself, trying to learn French. So again, in this like time period, it's cool to like try to learn new things or go back to skills we had before. I have one more thing in terms of the tips, and that is, I have two more. Is to ask questions. So if you are going to be getting this information, I find out if you have access to call a teacher, because teachers are still working. They're working from home. So seeing if you can send them emails or even call them to ask them questions about the work that you're doing might be a good idea. Trying to figure out what's the communication that you can have with a teacher, because they are still working. So they'll kind of find a way to connect with them, because it's, like I said, it's their job to educate you guys. Even though they're just giving you the packets, they should be able to have some form of communication with you.
I don't understand how teachers giving us work, including like when we're even in school. I don't understand how teachers giving us work to write down on some paper just to put a letter grade on there. I don't understand how that's going to make us any smarter. I like hands-on hand work. I like this type of work. I'd rather do this than like do a packet any day, because this is processing things in my brain. Writing down things on a piece of paper is just going to fly out one ear, like go through one ear and fly out the other. Like, I don't know.
That's a big conversation that we have like with teachers is, everyone learns differently. So it's like, how do you need to make sure that you're accounting for all different learning styles. I'm glad you brought kind of like a session like this where we're discussing things, something that works for you, because my last tip is to form study groups, like have a hangout where you're talking about, okay, we're all in, Miss Smith's first period history class. she gave us this packet. We're going to get into a Google Hangout and we're going to talk about like what our assignment and process it out together and collaborating. It's not cheating, Keisha, so don't think that, but talking about them as with a group can help you process the work that you're doing. So, and then like,
Okay, so we can make like a group chat or something. We could do that if you get like a packet or something.
Yeah. Hakeem, my little brother, his teacher just called my mom yesterday. She wants to talk to her. She wanted to talk to her at 10 this morning, but I don't know. My mom hasn't been back yet.
And that's a big thing. I'm glad that his teacher reached out. It's a little tough. The younger kids, the teachers are a little bit more connected. With high schoolers, it's a little bit more difficult because
there's a lot of us.
Yeah, there's a lot of you, and then you have like 6 or 7 teachers. You know what I mean? Because you have multiple subjects. But finding out the contact for them is going to be big. Hopefully, you'll be getting some calls soon, Keisha, about from teachers checking in with you. One thing that I wanted to ask you about is I like Casey's idea of you all organizing your own kind of group chats about about your schoolwork. But we at Boys and Girls Club are thinking about having sessions ourselves, organized, inviting you to come and like, I'll tell you right now, none of us are like math teachers or anything like that, but we've gone through high school. A lot of us are pretty educated and we can help. So how would you all be interested if we said, on Mondays, we're going to hold a session where we'll help with like history. On Tuesdays, we'll help with English and like setting up these kind of virtual like study sessions for you all. Would that be helpful?
That seems fun. We should do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But
now,
like,
go ahead, Keisha.
If we if the teachers actually start calling us like this at our school, that's like a lot. And they're going to try to like call us for like an hour. That's basically like, you know how we'd be in school for 45 minutes each period and stuff. So that's like 8 hours. We got to sit on the phone and listen to each teacher talk.
I don't think it's going to be like that.
I don't think they would do that.
I think it's going to be more like they call and say, how are you doing with your packet? Do you have any questions about your packet? And then they'd answer your questions, and that might take maybe like 10 minutes. And then after that, they'd probably get off the phone with you and then go on to the next student that they have to call. If I'm just guessing that's how it might work, but I don't think they're going to have you on the phone for an entire class period trying to teach a lesson. I don't think it's going to work that way. But we might do something similar to that if we do our group sessions. The thing that we would need though is we would need you guys to share with us your packets. Like I saw some stuff online, but just confirming like, okay, this is what we're learning about. Like if I can read what you're doing, I could read it over and then prepare something for the next day or something like that. So that's something we're in the works on trying to create for you guys. It seems like you'd be interested, just to kind of give some extra support, because I know it has to be difficult kind of figuring this out on your own. Okay. So those are my tips. Those are kind of the tips to kind of just help you get organized and ready to manage this whole homeschooling situation. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to stop the recording and set us up for the community discussion where I have a couple of extra questions more about your individual situation with homeschooling. So give me 1 second to stop the recording and stop the live session.
Okay.